Greetings everyone, Wickman here, and welcome to a new series here on the channel that I like to call EXP Journal. This here is a review style series of videos where I aim to complete a game of my choosing with the focus on detailing my experience along the way in order to give helpful insight on whether or not the game is worth playing. Some could be straightforward, going point A to point B, or some could encompass a set of challenges to show off most if not all of what the game has to offer. So join me today in this boomer shooter as I play through DUSK. So DUSK has been one of those games that has been on my bucket list for some time now, and even when I was in full ownership of the game, I haven't really bothered playing it yet. And it got to the point where if anybody was to ask me the question, have you played DUSK yet? I'd be like, yeah. Well, perhaps now that question can finally be put to rest because I'm finally getting around to doing it. But before we do, let's get a brief primer about the game. Developed by David Szymanski, produced by Dave Oshry, published by New Blood Interactive, and released on December 10th, 2018, DUSK aims to capture the look and feel of a 90s first-person shooter using its many inspirations like Doom, Blood, and Quake especially. As such, we get the fast movement, which includes buddy hopping, multiple weapons to carry from hit scans to explosives, the sharp and gritty texture with a low polygonal count, and more. There's also the brilliant soundtrack that complements the moments of atmosphere and high-octane combat. Composer Andrew Hulshult has done such amazing work in his repertoire that he eventually got on board along with David Levy to compose for the Doom Eternal Ancient Gods DLC. Man, feels good to be a boomer right now. But does this old school style shooter actually fulfill my boomer needs? Well, let's hop into the first episode, the Foothills, and select Cero Miedo difficulty. Cero Fear in Spanish, by the way. On this difficulty, enemies just simply have an increased projectile speed and does twice the base damage, which is something I would have expected out of this difficulty. Speaking of which, do not select Duskmare unless you want enemies to sneeze on you and die instantly. It would not be the greatest of ideas for a first playthrough. So with that, let's begin.
Kill the intruder.
First level is Head Cheese, and we start cutting around these leather-faced wannabes. Afterwards, I see we can grab and toss things around for various advantages, such as this early pistol, and accidentally discovering a false wall. Oh, come to Papa. Ah, rats!
Rats, rats, we're the rats. We pray at night, we stalk at night.
So even though I haven't exited the house yet, I was already interested in exploring around the place and messing with destructible objects, making health, armor, and ammo pickups that more engaging. Oh wait, did I say armor? I mean morale, because the character that we're playing as is some no-name treasure hunter, and we must do cool things like collecting gems, drinking beer, and sleeping. Well, I like sleeping at least. Sleeping's good. Well, this is no good. Quite frankly, I'm scared what's even further upstairs. Oh my god, it's soap! Actually, this is the joke weapon, where you can actually do 1 billion damage when you throw it at enemies, and it's guaranteed to be 1 per level. If I had known that earlier, hilarity would ensue. Anyways, as first levels go, this is really solid. I was already equipped with dual pistols, dual shotguns, and a double barrel shotgun. Safe to say, I'm ready for the next level. Down on the farm. Time to break up the party, it says. I don't know. I'm doing pretty well for myself. Oh wait, what did I just grab? Am I doing more damage? Or, oh, it's haste. Well, now I know. I have a feeling about this scarecrow. I'll be back. So I happened to see an item on top of this here barn, and for the life of me, I just could not figure out this one. I thought I could just start stacking some items, and I'm pretty positive that's not intended. Actually, what you can do is do an explosive jump, and it would actually not damage you as much. I just had Doom on the brain, and I thought explosion jumping would just do more harm than good. Now that I know that, I'll consider using that during the other 2 episodes. Yo, a cracked wall? Time to go Zelda on this. Sweet. Oh, not sweet. I guess I would do that if I wanted a self-imposed challenge. Damn it, I knew it! God, that hurt a lot. Ooh, what's that? Must grab box. And we got the Riveter. What's the Riveter? Oh, that's the Riveter. I think it's time for the music to kick in. So now that we have the red key, normally that's where we find the exit. That is until I found this. A secret door opened. After backtracking to a few areas, sure enough, my thoughts were correct. It leads to the secret level. The Dim Slough. In the previous level, I had a gut instinct telling me that the green water is bad, so I didn't bother with it, thinking I don't want to burn my toes. The secret level, however, is full of it, and it quickly proved me wrong that I can safely traverse through it. Honestly, I was a bit nervous going through the thick poo gas, thinking something would jump out at me. Really? That stock sound effect that anyone who played Minecraft would know? Yeah, I know it's just a stock sound effect, but if there's a game that you really like to the point you recognize the sounds, you say the same thing. Christ, it's the same thing with Doom, and it's filled with stock sounds. Now, don't worry, I'm not mad about this, I'm just slightly annoyed. Okay, the fact that using high-powered weapons, not just explosives, just to make common enemies explode due to overkill damage, that's a good nod to Doom. Nice touch. So I got to the point of getting the blue key and the option to exit the level, but I had yet to get the yellow key, and there was a portion of the level that I was missing out on. I felt entranced to look closer for switches and hidden pathways just to get those extra things, and sure enough, I did. Alright, now we can leave. Next is Old Time Religion, and okay, bonus points for having an autumn theme to this one, since that's my favorite season. Also, the ambient music that plays here really tells me that this place is forgotten, haunting, and yet peaceful. So we're here at this church, filled with cultists, because of course there is, with a suspicious tunnel, because of course there is. Oh, what a happy accident.
Rats, we're rats, we're the rats. We pray at night, we
Oh Christ, screw this. The amount of times making this Germa joke, I swear. Oh? Dude, this is not just a secret. This is a scenic secret. The atmosphere of this level is amazing. Honestly, I think this might be my favorite level, so... And I still stand by that. The atmosphere is great, it's well paced, and it has surprises. What more do you need? A boss? Yet another surprise.
My pet. You'll pay for that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I kill your poor little Argus? Well, don't mind me. I'm just gonna get drunk over here. It's good stuff. So yeah, this was my favorite level so far. What's next? Steamworks. Uh-oh. Oh, fuck. My first death. Yeah, payback. You know it's good when the music kicks in just to give you that push into the fight. And a fast fire totem for good measure. The portals work. He is pleased. Oh, you mean this portal? And this portal? And this portal? He is all around you? Who is he? All hail dope fish. Other than that, this level was pretty short. Moving on. Sawdust. Looks like we got the aesthetics of autumn again, but the color is appearing more red here. It makes sense because not only does that give an aura of evil around us, it also shows the passage of time as it creeps more closely to... dusk. Okay, let's ignore that unintentional cringe and grab something new here. A hunting rifle. Nah, I like this better. But seriously though, hunting rifle is a pretty good weapon for dealing with enemies that could potentially one-shot you up close, like the scarecrows. But it does fall short for only having 15 rounds, so shoot wisely. So this cave happens to have a weird item that we could use. As I make my way down, I happen to stumble across this thing called a Crystal of Madness. At first I thought nothing of it, but when you toss and break it, a large green cloud appears and it does nothing. But it does actually do something. If you break it into a group of mobs, they actually infight. If this item shows up later, it might make for an interesting scenario. If I had known that, I would have brought it down to this fight. Okay, that was close. Yeah, good design. They weren't human. Well, no shish. Both shooting in unison to effectively one-shot me is a clear indicator that they aren't human. Okay, calm down. Let's go to the next level. The Cuddy Mine. I gotta say, for as small as this map is, it somehow managed to be confusing to navigate. It's likely because of the pitch black tunnels, making it harder to remember certain details. Also, confined maps in general are a mixed bag for me. When your only matter of defense is to dodge and you keep bumping into walls, the next thing you'll likely bump into are projectiles, and that put me on the search for secrets just for the sake of health. Thankfully, these types of encounters weren't so serious, so it gets a pass for me. Dead of the Night. Alright, now we get to the good stuff, because we immediately start with running and gunning the place, with the music wasting no time. Projectiles coming from many directions, jump pads for style, and to give us a new weapon, the crossbow that pierces targets and walls. From the looks of it, I would guess this map is probably used in multiplayer, which is called Dusk World by the way, given the wide area, tall vantage points, and multiple jump pads. Anyways, time to have fun with saw blades. Yes! Again. Yeah, wait, what? Get back here. Shish. Okay, fine, Objects are weird. It's about as weird as this cat. Man, tossing objects is just too good. Don't make me use this. I warned you. Put lotion on skin. No hose for me. Haha! Silence of the Lambs. Tell me guys, am I worthy? Bruh. No. Homing attacks? God, their random walking can easily get me sandwiched. Piss off. Okay, time to whittle you fuckers down. Christ! No kidding, because that fight sucked. Okay, all healed up now. What's the next map? Through the Gate. Hey, cracked wall. Ah! German rats, stop it!
Where the rats?
At this point, I'll probably be calling this Windows 3D Movie Maker the FPS. Starring the treasure hunter that wields a sword? Okay, I didn't know this after the episode, but this sword is more than just an upgrade from the sickles. You can actually deflect projectiles with this, costing 1 morale every time you deflect as long as you have more than 50 morale. Might be good getting out of a tight pinch with this, but I did find it amusing to use. You couldn't resist making that joke, could you? So as I crawled out of what looked like to be a quarry, I'm noticing more story elements given with this tall gate and this new enemy type, the possessed soldiers. It seems as though they're having a struggle defending the town of this titular game, Dusk, where the source of the madness is coming from. I always appreciate it when a game that doesn't have cutscenes finds a way of telling a story through unobtrusive world building. Well, time to see the damage. Ghost Town. How appropriate. I have the immediate need to sneak.
Rats, 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 rats.
It's always the last one to get the cheap bite, isn't it? You can always rely on a misaligned texture to get you something quick and easy. So given that we're in the town now, this naturally made me curious to explore for secrets, and given the abandoned state and destruction everywhere, it reminds me a fair bit of Fallout. Oh, this area just screams ambush. Hello everyone! Everybody in a straight line! You know what? I'm curious. Oh, Rippus. Wow, okay, he just gave up. Although, from reviewing the footage, it just showed that he just bumped into a flaming barrel. Didn't think AI would be stupid enough to do that. With all that said and done, we head on down to the blue door, activate the elevator, and thus reach the final level of Episode 1. Creations.
Are you prepared for what's next?
If you're talking about a boss, I already knew that just by looking at the kill count. You don't scare me. So after fiddling with the combo switches, here I see scientists. If there are scientists, and what I'm guessing there's eldritch magic involved, that must mean undead ponytas, of course! Oh, Jesus! You know, these boss fights just have a slight BS factor to them. Either they have a random aim deviation or a homing attack, and just pray to God that you're able to— oh God, another one! Okay, let's get out of here.
This is only the beginning.
And that wraps up episode 1. I overall like this episode. The key things that make up this episode are pacing and presentation. It didn't overfill your senses all the time, only when it was fitting. Equal amount of exploration and action, as well as fitting in some story elements. If these kinds of aspects were in place here, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a playable demo. And it's quite fitting too, because this harkens back to the days of shareware and Doom, with its first episode being free to try as well. It certainly did its job to entice me further into this game. So let's make haste and enter episode 2, The Facilities. First level is the granary. Right off the bat, looking into this corner, I happen to got a riveter already. Good stuff. So now that we're further into the town and exploring more of the industrial locations, the possessed soldiers are now of a more common enemy type, and this level will let you know that very quickly. Sure, they're easy to kill, but their damage can't stack up if you're not quick enough. Along with them, we have new enemies called welders, big, tanky dudes that shoot fireballs at you and explode on death. Find a little back door to a camping site. Tonight on the menu, cans of hash and cooked viscera. Bruh. Bruh. Bruh! Great. How am I supposed to get out? Dig. Climbing gear? Oh my god. This is cool. I certainly hope this becomes a more reoccurring power-up. So after fighting waves of enemies and grabbing the last key, I was a bit confused on where I need to go next. Did I need to backtrack?
Where do you think you're going?
I guess so. Oh no. Now I have to deal with homing attacks on a regular basis. The last thing I want is more enemies with BS attacks. So, end level. Unseen. Okay, what's going on here? Okay. Is something gonna happen when I grab this key? No? Something's out there. I know you're here! Okay, you're gonna hate me for this, but I already knew about this enemy. I remember vaguely that a jump scare enemy exists in this game, and before shooting this episode, I looked it up and found out what happens to be the Wendigo, an enemy that is invisible until shot, moves fast, and deals high melee damage. Didn't I just say no more enemies with BS attacks? Look, I get it. The way the enemy is introduced works well. There was build up to it. The message that states, don't trust your eyes, the heavy breathing, and the bloody footsteps. Clearly, that was a tutorial to a degree so you can retaliate with no problems. Why am I having a big fuss about it anyways? I just hate invisible enemies. They're bullshit. Anyways, the remainder of the level is fine. I had a cool shooting sequence going up the stairs here, sliding into the next room, and just generally blowing things up. Now these are the kind of things that I play games for. Into the Thresher. Dude, that was my barrel! Great, now we got turrets to deal with. Not only that, but we got this outside section to deal with. Starting from the bottom and getting surrounded by cultists and grand wizards. That didn't feel good. I had to pick them off one at a time while hugging the wall just to stand a chance. At least it felt good to do high damage shots with the hunting rifle. That'll shut them up. You mother father. Eat this. Come here. Make up your mind. There's another? Where is it? Where is it? I'm freaking out, dude. You see why I hate these Wendigos? Honestly, this level sucks. A lot of it has to do with peeking around corners and hugging walls as a mean of surviving. If I don't do that, there's gonna be plenty of cheap shots. Also, there's this. Next level, please. The Infernal Machine. So the Thresher in the previous level is a machine designed to crush a bunch of flesh and bones that leads down to... Why? This game is pulling so many rugs out from under me, I don't even Anyways, now we're getting back to the levels that are fun to explore. We got the whole red motif and several blades spinning around everywhere, and the return of the climbing hooks. Look at this room. I mean, look at this room. Makes you want to get some mushrooms, am I right? I've honestly spent a lot of time looking around in this level for secrets, especially the one that was alluding to a secret exit. Also, super shoddy! Time to put Wendigos into their place. I ain't leading that. So I'll be honest, I want to be able to see all of what the game has to show to me. Given that there is clearly a secret exit, I had to look it up on how to access it. Yeah, I know it's scummy for me to do that, but I will just go crazy if I don't. So, deal with it. But enough about that, it's time to fight! Okay, what is it with me clearing out a room only to have a power-up to be wasted? What school did I go to? In any case, there's a switch that opens up the grate. Let's go. The Foundry. The best way I can describe this secret level, it has a really nice flow to it. Each room that I went into had a good composition of enemies to fight, along with some nice visuals of the level itself. Traversing the level also has some nice variety, which includes hopping across a bed of lava and climbing up high walls. All the while, some molten hot industrial music is playing consistently throughout. Honestly, no complaints about it. It's a really good map. The Escher Labs. Are you ready for this map? Because things are about to get visually interesting. So, being in a lab with eldritch influences, I would guess some testing was involved.
Go on, take it. Taste the power.
Okay. Whoa, what? Yo, what's gonna... What? Oh my god. I like the fact that I just got hit by that. Whoa, okay. Yes. Ooh. I love this. Okay, that was trippy as balls. Although saying that now is an understatement. Just after flipping a switch and doing some backtracking, guess what happens next? Was the ceiling always that high? Oh. Maybe I shouldn't have drank in that. No, it seems that the further that we go into the labs, the more that reality gets distorted and the fabric of time and space just bleeds through. Don't. Do. Gah! You see why I hate these f***ers? What am I doing? Yes?
What have you done?
Ah! Oh, for fuck! Here, I'm gonna cheese it like this. Yay! Cheesed it! The Escher Labs, guaranteed to warp your mind. The Erebus Reactor. This level I felt I had a bit of trouble with. It's another wide arena type of level, like Dead of the Night from episode 1. Normally this wouldn't be an issue, but since most of the levels are explore, fight away of enemies, repeat, this one threw me off my rocker. What's different compared to Dead of the Night is that the arena is much larger and more deadly, including the boss from the previous level as a regular enemy, the Cowgirl. And yes, that's what they're called. Nonetheless, I took my time to consistently move and take my shots, then typically fight another big wave after grabbing a key. Pro tip, don't be like me and panic into the starting tunnel here. You won't have a fun time. After conquering the arena and nabbing all the keys, I was able to head outside of the reactor to a nearby garage. Hitting the switch inside reveals that the reactor was enclosed inside of a dome for some reason. Probably to contain the radiation or something, I don't know. Anyways, with the hatch open, we can now take the elevator.
I'm here, kill me! Come on! Girly man! Come on, kill me! Come on, kill me! Good job!
Okay, hot take. This boss sucks, and I don't mean how easy it was to beat him. I'm talking about the whole goofy Arnold Schwarzenegger voice. The thing about how this game likes to inject its humor is that you either have to go out of your way to find it, like with the Dopefish Easter egg, or things that are out in the open but it's subtle, like the Silence of the Lambs reference. If this fight was a secret boss encounter, maybe even in a secret level, I would have enjoyed this much more because it would have made more sense. The bosses thus far at least didn't have anything comedic going for them, which is why this boss fight made me do a double take. Maybe that was the point, just to surprise me? Heck, this whole episode had surprises with new power-ups and some levels flowing differently. I guess I'm just too used to the whole standard fare of boomer shooters. Okay, rant over. Next level. Neobabble. After being slightly irritated from the previous level, my mood kinda spilled over to this one, and thus my gameplay kinda suffered. Any items or power-ups I came across, I've used them in a bad spot, or only after I cleared out a wave of enemies and saw it too late. It was a feels bad man type of level for me. Does it make the level any less good? No, I think it's fine. I mean, we're exploring structures way up in the sky for crying out loud. I just kind of wish I knew what I was doing. Plus, I was so secret deprived that I had to make a staircase of objects just to reach one. For a weapon that I underutilized. Wow, I'm horrible. I can't really say much about this level. It's not bad. It's just I'm bad. Oh. Blood and Bone. If there was a level to give you a feeling of dread nearing, this sells it. The pacing is done in such a way so you have more time to notice the dark hallways and the mostly reddish rooms. It definitely feels like you're getting closer to something you shouldn't know about. But you're gonna find out anyways. The enemy placement is also pretty good, even though my hatred for Wendigo still stands. But do you want to know what I have not acknowledged yet? The scientists. Their syringes do massive damage, 100 in fact on Ceremieto difficulty, and Wendigos have 40. They're really like a glass cannon enemy. I had no issues up until I slipped up. Now, I don't know what's worse.
With his sparks, we take from men that which has never been taken before.
Yeah, well, you're taking my flashlight away again, you creep. Yeah, Wendigos are still the worst. The ruins held knowledge. We sold our souls for it. Altars built of concrete, fed with blood and bone. And the dismembered parts of Wendigos! No, I don't. Oh my god, no, why, no, The dig. So this level was kind of annoying. I had a few instances with enemy placement that I just wasn't prepared for and got my ass handed. I do make it a routine to quick save when it's fitting to do so, but I felt I was doing a whole lot because repeating segments suck. Ah, my friend the saw blade. Let's take a breather and one-shot these bastards. Haha, nice. Boom. Whee! Now why does this place look like a boss arena? Wow, the game agrees with me. At least there's no goofy voice attached to this. Oh no. Wow, this encounter was so shitty they even killed themselves. But the killing is supposed to be my job! Suck it down.
Rats, we're rats.
No! No more! Joke is dead! Jesus, let's end this. The Gauntlet. Wait. Okay. Alright. Ready to kick ass. No, I'm not. Oh, the totem. Line him up. Oh, he's a tanky boy. Must find switches. Yeah. Ah, stop teleporting. You're like Ganon from the Zelda TV show. Got that. And that. Ah! Panic, panic, panic! Wait, that's it? No, I want him dead. All right, proper fight this time. Oh, not so tanky now, are ya? Almost.
Most impressive.
No, I'm not done. Let's go again. Yes.
Most impressive.
Okay, now we can end this. Episode 2 is appropriately a step up in difficulty with the new enemy types, although we have seen some rough spikes here and there. There have been moments where I had to change strategy to use cover due to things like the homing attack from the Grand Wizard, or making sure I can back up quickly and not get mauled by a Wendigo. Once you catch on, make use of your tools and the playing field is yours. Speaking of tools, the new power-ups with the climbing hooks and the serum help make exploration and combat more engaging, and I hope to see this and more in the last episode. As a side note, I really need to remind myself about the crossbow because this weapon was so underused. It pierces enemies and goes through walls. What's wrong with me? Anyways, with that summary done, I think we've regained our composure, and now it's time to go ahead and tackle the third and final episode, The Nameless City. The Iron Cathedral. So my first thought going into this episode was, how much is the difficulty going to ramp up? Would I get the same feeling of difficulty like that of Doom's E4M1? Actually, no. If anything, it's empowering in an odd way. Normally we start with a pistol or a shotgun nearby. Instead, this episode starts you off with the sword. Remember the defensive mechanic that I explained earlier to deflect projectiles? Well, somehow in my research, I missed the offensive mechanic of the sword. When you have at least 100 health, holding down left click will charge an attack and stab an enemy for 900 damage. Assuming you're good at finding secrets, the sword, crossbow, and the mortar are your initial weapons. Also a super shotgun, but I didn't know that at the time. This was quite a breath of fresh air, as going through most of this map with the sword made me feel like a badass. The music certainly amplified this feeling as well, with the full and grand sound of the pipe organ echoing throughout the cathedral. After being familiar with the game with this confident feeling, it all culminates in this fight right here. When Wendigos become a non-issue, you know you got this by the balls. Totally by the balls. Fire and ice. Time to go DK on them.
Yeah.
Something that I like for a while now is the amount of options I have to deal with any situation, and it became more apparent with the Crystals of Madness. I'd just be casually carrying one when a nope situation occurs, and I toss and forget. As the level name implies, the fire portion we got the lava caverns down below, and then the ice portion with some steady snowing from up top. I have a feeling that David added a snow section either because why not, or to go with the whole saying hell froze over. Whichever reason, it did net me this fight here with these bone monks, which is the Cacodemon equivalent of this game. Admittedly, it was a bit annoying having to fight them since my crosshair was the same color as the goddamn sky, so I had to go ahead and rely on my killing floor instincts of aiming. Oh, thanks Wendigo. You've been promoted as my secret finding assist. Nah, just die. Next. City of Shadows. Yo, Underground City. You know, looking at this stuff makes me wonder if we have something like this to this scale in real life. Because of the level design, exploration is such a treat. Just be wary of where you're running to, otherwise you're going to be triggering a unprepared fight. Again, I can't stress this enough about the climbing hooks. It is such a fun power-up to use just so you can go ham and find secrets. If there is a drawback to this level, it's the underwater portion, starting with a giant fish. This sucks because you have no easy way of dodging projectiles underwater. I died twice to Chomper, and then I'm like, where's the f***ing soap? Jerk. Then after flipping the switch, the whole level decided to turn into Wet Dry World, only then to deal with more fish. Thank God they only show up here in this level. First half good, second half bad. Crypt of the Flesh.
Embrace the darkness.
Ah! Oh God, not this again. Just to be sure. So you can tell they were going for the whole Wendigo thing again with the creepy vibes it's giving off. It's visible, sure, but instead it has raspy breathing and a disproportionate body, and they get up into your face trying to vomit on you. If fighting Wendigos taught me anything, listening to their initial spot will get you ready to return fire. After getting a new flashlight, Christ, the level goes back to being pretty standard fare. Oh sure, you got rooms with bloody flesh and screaming spiky balls spamming skulls everywhere. Okay, never mind. There is one thing in this level, however, that I'm looking for, and that is the secret exit. Yes, I had to look up this one, and for good reason too. And just to give you a reference, the first one, found it by myself naturally. The second one, yeah, I had to look it up, but if I was a bit patient, I would have found it. But with this third one, even if I found the switch to access the room, I would not have known to stand directly on top of the toilet to flush myself to go down to the secret level. Yes, the wall says, flush your sins away, but I've seen the writing as a joke, not a clue to plant my feet in the toilet bowl. It all comes down to this, having to flush myself. What a perfect analogy of my channel the past few years!
Don't worry about it.
The radical... Oh no. Oh dear God! The German rats with a vengeance! These freaking rats, I swear to God! Stupid boulder! Wait. Huh. You better not. Kill me now.
I'm the giant rat that makes all of the rules. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get ourselves into.
I hate rats. Okay, jokes aside, this map is appropriately funny. It's only rats with a giant rat boss that is fitting for a secret level, unlike Big John over there. Also, while it's generally a good idea to find secrets, definitely do it in this one as you'll likely be maxed out in health. Now the only way out is the same method I came in. Goody. Blasphemy. Anyone getting vibes of the starting room of E3M1 from Doom except it's a wide open plain with a church? It's probably just the red... everything. As expected with such a big space, there'd be waves of enemies to fight. Some fights can be quite the spectacle as well, with several projectiles flying everywhere. Just be wary of the Grand Wizards with their homing attacks and like 5 Wendigos chasing your ass. But if you want something cool out of this level, just watch this.
It's already here.
Neat. Now we break into the underground, crossbowing a line of mages, going down a stairway from the Kingdom Hearts 2 opening, playing a game of chicken with the torso dog, and just generally having a good time. Not a bad level. Brimstone Ghetto. This one immediately starts with 2 fast fire rate totems that stacks, as well as the climbing hooks. It really does make you feel like Spider-Man jumping wall to wall and then striking from above. Oh no. Dodgy freak. Much like the episode 1 level Ghost Town, being in this industrialized and burning city makes me naturally inclined to break through the crates and trash bags for hidden goodies. Admittedly, there were a couple of encounters that nearly got me killed, like this tunnel filled with soldiers, welders, and horrors trying to finish the job, but my secret sense can always pull through for me. By the time I reached the dark wooden tunnels, it then got to a part that really annoyed me. Oh, BS death. I'll grab that. much better. Oh, for snap your ass off. All right, I see a ledge down there. Oh, what the? Wow. Yeah, I can't say that I like this part. It can fuck off. However, we ended off by being in an underground forest for some reason, but who am I to question the logic of an eldritch dimension? And this mind warping is only the beginning. Homecoming.
Welcome home.
This is a very different level compared to the rest, and I don't mean by the fact we're on floating islands. This is mainly an atmospheric storytelling level. While there are still enemies to fight, there's actually very few as to not distract you from the story. As the level name suggests, we're exploring what seems to be a distorted reality of Dusk Dude's land. Initially, we're just searching through a couple of houses and a barn, often interrupted by the screaming spiky balls, and traversing through the use of these gravity-altering devices. Eventually, we end up to the last house, of which the game indicates to us that this is Dusk Dude's house. At first, I thought I heard someone falling from the sky, which I know it sounds silly, but the audio you just heard, the burning sounds, the screams of despair, and the text reading, "How can I be here?" implies that Dusk Dude's house was actually burned down. Of course, we see him being just fine now, but upon inspection of the portraits of a woman and a kid, and the text reading, "It hurts to remember," it's likely that it's Dusk Dude's wife and child, and that they didn't survive from their burning home. This certainly adds more or reshaping Dusk Dude's original motivation for traveling to Dusk. It's not just for treasure anymore. It's for vengeance. Whether or not it's true of what the game is telling me, it's still adding fuel to the fire of what needs to be done to end this chaos. As above, so below. Hey, this game's pulling an E3M9 from Doom on us. And you'd be right. And then some. This is the point where reality really goes haywire. As you progress through, you'll start to notice segments of familiar ground, and familiar it is, because parts of previous levels are coming back to haunt you. To me, that sets the tone of what this dimension is capable of, or whoever is pulling the strings, an attempt to stretch the sanity of your mind. The hallway fighting your first Wendigo, teleporting to the meaty ribcage, and the trippy spinning blades room. Oh, and the little neck boss fight for good measure. That one was a treat. Then finally, it all comes full circle when you return to that one cellar where this whole thing began. Complete the circle, indeed. The Dweller in Darkness. A little dot? Oh, neat.
Show us that you are worthy.
What? Probably a good thing I found this crystal. Better bring that soap as well. Oh. Oh! We're fighting waves of enemies. Serious Sam style? Well, you fuckers don't know who you're up against.
Dudes want some!
It's time to end this.
Excellent. Then come to us.
Dusk. In due time. Time to end this. No.
At last. You finally arrived. You shall be my final test.
Finally, the guy who's been observing me the entire game, Jacob the cult leader. Straight away, his movements and attacks are identical to yours, and it all comes down to outmaneuvering him. Just let him buddy hop into my rivets and playing guitar here with my rifle, and I whittle him down easy. This cult leader thinks he's so high and mighty, taunting me throughout my journey, only then to be easily smitten by me.
No, you can't betray me.
Wait, what?
My disciples!
What the f just happened? I guess I'm free to go. This is it. Freedom. Everything is at peace knowing that I've done the right thing. Absolute free. Of course.
He was worthy, you know, and he accomplished so much. But then you came along. You who were stronger. You who were faster. You I like better. Who did you expect at the end of all of this? God? The devil, perhaps? No. It's just me.
Norlethotep? The crawling chaos? You just couldn't resist having eldritch gods as bosses, could you? Well, when this game is mainly inspired by Quake, they weren't kidding. Anyways, what is the final boss of this game like? Well, initially I couldn't do any damage, so there had to be another method of doing so. But when I happened to see a crack here in the ceiling in the game mentioning something about a light, I know what had to be done. Explode it. Honestly, this approach of having Nyarlathotep being vulnerable to light as a way of having to weaken him and then doing damage, it's kind of cheesy, but it doesn't really detract me away from the fight. Now, understandably, at first, I was quite confused trying to comprehend the whole rigmarole of having to avoid damage as well as figuring out how to deal damage. But on my third attempt, I was able to telegraph his attacks a lot better and follow it up with the proper beatdown.
Enough! You are indeed worthy. And so now, my power is yours. How does it feel? Horrible, isn't it? But wonderful, yes? Who you were before is insignificant. Who you are now is inconceivable. But here you shall remain till I have need of you again. For one must always reign beneath dusk.
Well, looks like Caleb has got some competition. And it's funny because both Caleb and Narlethatep is voiced by the same person. Go figure. So, that was Dusk. So, to give the recap, Episode 1 is well made to get you hooked, Episode 2 ramps up the difficulty, and here with Episode 3, I feel it used the best aspects of the previous two. You got a lot of varied and interesting level designs, the many types of enemies and encounters to keep you thinking on your feet, and the rough, eldritch atmosphere setting the tone throughout the game with a few spots of humor. When David Szymanski set out to work on this game, he knew exactly how to craft this and simulate that feeling of a 90s shooter. While I did have a few issues with some levels and a couple of enemy types, I still enjoyed this game overall, and I highly recommend it. Get this game, whether it's on sale or not. Just do whatever it takes to get your hands on it. If you want to get that authentic feeling of a 90s shooter in this day and age, go for it. You will not be disappointed.